Restaurant for, again, stepping up and helping us with our sponsorships.
We have Philip Testa, CPA. Thank you so much, Philip, for stepping up and sponsoring us as well.
As we mentioned before, Amarili's Sandwiches, Juan and Amy Santayana, thank you for your love and support.
Thank you, Audrey Lazera and Columbia Jobbing for being our sponsor. We're excited to have you as a sponsor, and thanks for being on board.
La Segunda Central Bakery and Copeland Morey and the Morey family, thank you again.
Also, Sarah Ann Valdez and Mary Jo Paniello, the owners of K Pasta Tours, and actually went on a tour 5 years ago with them.
It's time to go again.
Oh, I'm ready. I mean, had a great time. But anyway, K Pasta Tours, thank you for being a sponsor.
South Tampa Chiropractic Clinic and Dr. Tom Aguero and his staff. Thank you, Dr. Tom and South Tampa Chiropractic Clinic. Also, our dear friend and the world-famous Tiny Tap Tavern owner, say that 3 times fast, Casey Powell. Casey, thank you for being a sponsor, being part of our family.
And do the next one, Mario?
No, take the next one.
Okay, we have Red Wagon Landscaping, Isaac Gonzalez. Thank you, Isaac.
Isaac Gonzalez. There's Lignos Law Firm, Mike Lignos. Thank you, Mike, for being there for us. And lastly, but not leastly, that's
Mike's Delivery Service, Mike Baluha. Thanks so much, Mike, for all you do for the show.
Mike Baluha, the wonderful Mike Baluha. We also have the Colonnade Restaurant, who's going to be joining us next week as well. This past Tuesday morning, we had an event again at Amarili's Sandwiches and More, easy for me to say. Sold these mugs as we talked about before. We also have to mention that Isaac Gonzalez was there with us. Isaac, thank you for being the third man in our cockpit.
Absolutely.
You didn't miss one. Mike Baluha for providing us with the incredible music and graphics. That's the intro music that you guys just heard a few minutes ago. We also want to say a great big shout out to Michael and Kathy White. Thank you for always being there for us, for your invaluable ideas, and for joining us on Tuesday. Joe Abini, who drove in from where?
Seminole.
And that's not
Seminole Heights.
Seminole,
Florida.
People are waving from us out the window. It's amazing. From Seminole, Joe, thank you so much. You never cease to amaze us. You always turn up with your love and support. Ricky Branch, from your perch out there in Virginia, thank you for your continued support. And Phil and Carmen Nunez, 2 people I know pretty well, always for being there for us also.
Oh, and Mario, exciting thing from Amarili's Restaurant on Tuesday, the event, I ran into someone that you know also, Frank Cacciatore.
Absolutely.
And talking to him, I found out that he knew my father and also my uncle, both my uncles, he knows them well. But he knew my grandfather too. My grandfather built his house on 1309 East 18th Avenue in Ybor City, a long time ago. So
your grandfather's name was?
Was Tony or Antonio or
Antonino?
Antonino Nino is by short.
And he knew your grandfather.
He knew my grandfather.
And he knew your dad well.
And I do very well.
That was pretty cool. Thank you, Mr. Cacciatore. I know you're out there watching.
Yeah,
that was a pretty neat moment for all of us. A couple of names also, some of the guys that were there on Tuesday, and the list is about that long. We picked out a few. The first mug that we sold that morning was to Mr. Carl Ledden. And then, of course, Rini Rodriguez was there with his crew, Frank Guida and Frank Cueto, and Gary Garcia. Who else was there?
Well, we had Gary Garcia, Don Leggett, Nelson Campisi, Ken Lightfoot, and all those in between. Thank you so much for being there and supporting us, and it was a pleasure meeting every one of you.
You guys know who you are, and we thank you. No, the list is too long to read. It would take too much of our time. And we'd also like to say now, as the great one used to say about his Miami Beach audience, and for those of you old-timers know who the great one is, our Tampa Native show audience is the greatest audience in the world.
That is so true, Mario.
Thank you guys very much. We felt the love. We missed being in front of you every Thursday or Wednesday as it was, but this season we've got a new time, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock West Coast, and if you're in Hawaii, I don't know, it's too far away. And how about Ricky T. Parnell?
I bet he's watching from Brazil.
He's watching from Brazil. And Ricky, you don't have to stay up so late, Rick. I mean, there's a 3-hour time difference, so he gets to watch the show starting at 9 o'clock, and we hope there's no streaming problems for you.
Mario, I'd like to give a little quick shout out to a nice lady I met a couple months ago. Her name is Mrs. Sierra, and she's watching the show tonight, and she told all her friends about it this week, so she has her own fan club watching as well. So
thank you, Ms. Sierra, for being there for us
as
well. Did you tell them that we've got a new website?
No.
Tell these nice folks.
Okay, well,
they might not know.
Yeah, well, TampaNativeShow.com is a new website that we have where you can actually look at some of the little short video clips of some of the past shows, or you can see all the old archive shows from Lou Piniella to Dr. Paul Bearer and the Halloween show, Thanksgiving show. All shows from last season are now visible online at TampaNatives, that's plural, show.com. And so be sure to check that out and take a look at that. And
he's too humble to admit it, but or to acknowledge it, but Steve, Tampa Steve as it were, he's creator of that. He's the creator of that website. So, kudos to Tampa Steve for putting that all together.
Oh, you're welcome.
Our sponsors are all there, so we ask that you go ahead and take a look at that. And acknowledge some of our sponsors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Got some special things coming up as the season progresses involving the sponsors and involving the 15-minute girl. You want to stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask the 15-minute girl who's sitting just off camera here, if you can, darling, these glasses are rather empty, and really I wish we had filled them up beforehand because I have this tremendo frog right here that I'm about to cough out, and I don't want to do that on stage, on camera. So if you can possibly get some water for us, can you step out of the room and get us some water, darling? I don't know where it might be, but there's got to be a water fountain here somewhere. Here, take my mug, please, and get us some water. I'm serious.
Take my mug, please.
This is not a joke. This is not a test. I'm about to go 911. I'm going to cough in a minute now. Anyway, Stevie, take it, man. Take it.
Oh, man. Well, Mario, I know the Florida State Fair, I haven't been to the fair in probably 15, 20 years, but I'm going this Saturday. I'm so excited, and I'm gonna eat everything in sight. I'm gonna get a...
Careful.
Oh, I know, a large
G-rated joke. Go ahead.
large onion ring. They're the big greasy ones. Prawn pup, corn dog. Definitely got to get the fiddlesticks, the Borden's fiddlesticks. I don't know if y'all remember those or not, but they were
they're still there.
Ice cream dipped in chocolate, rolled in nuts.
Rolled in nuts.
And that was
their
slogan too, wasn't it? I think.
Dipped in chocolate, rolled in nuts.
Also the frozen banana, dipped in chocolate. Just so many. What makes the Florida State Fair so memorable for everyone is it's a sensory overload. It's the sights, the sounds, the smells, the taste. So it's just a lot of memories. With the Florida State Fair, and you'll see on the back, the green screen behind us, as you see a picture now. Throughout the show, we have about 26 pictures you'll be able to view, and from the 1920s all the way up to the 70s, and it'll bring back a lot of memories.
I'm back, I think.
You okay? The frog gone?
No, he's still there. He's doing his best to make life
miserable. Don't croak, okay?
No, thank you, Steve. Or Dr. Paul, as it were. He's doing his best to make my life miserable right now. So tonight's topic, as you already know, is the Florida State Fair. But not just the Florida State Fair as we know it today out on 301. For us old-timers who remember it when it was over here on over there on North Boulevard. Can't say over here anymore.
No,
We're not
that's
there
right.
anymore.
That's right.
It's here or there.
It was way down there.
On North Boulevard between Grand Central, Kennedy Boulevard, and Cass Street. Some of these photos you see behind us will be images from the 1920s to the 1970s, thanks to our archivist, Dan Perez, who is always Johnny on the spot with our photographs, made these available to us, and some of them are rather impressive. We'll try to point some of those things out, like the one you see there that you're looking at. I believe that's 1922, the Florida State Fairgrounds. The main entrance, that's probably Grand Central, certainly before it was named Kennedy. The wall that's still part of that wall from the University of Tampa that's there. And what Steve and I found most interesting about that particular shot was?
Well, Mario, here's the question. When you leave the fair, how do you know which car to get into? They all look identical. They're all the same. In fact,
they're all the same.
I enlarged that picture too and took a close look, and the cars are parked about that far apart from each other, about a couple inches. I don't know. They had to crawl in the window to get it in and out, I guess.
And fascinating because there's a line that's probably 6 or 7 people wide, and it goes for 2 or 3 city blocks waiting to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as we usually do when we do our show, those of you that are familiar with the format, Steve and I typically talk at the top about our fond remembrances of the Florida State Fair back when it was on North Boulevard. We're going to do that now for you, and then we're going to go to our phones. So get ready with your stories. We're going to ask for those in a minute. Send us your emails. If you don't want to call us, you're embarrassed to talk to us on the telephone. Can't imagine why. But Stevie, you got an email?
We got one already. Let's take a look.
Come on,
Let's
start
see
it
what we
off. And then we'll go and we'll tell you what we remember fondly about that Florida State Fair.
It's from Dan Perez actually, but it's blank. There's nothing on here. So, Dan, go ahead and resend that email for us with some information on that, and we'll go from there. Go ahead, Mario.
Okay, well, you want me to start with my memories?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's my memories. I wrote down a couple here real quick. I won't belabor too much, but I'll just tell you that I do remember one thing. When you were little and you went through the fair with your mom, your aunt, and your abuelita, she took you to the fair, and you went through the fair and you were little, you always had to hold on to your grandmother's hand, your mother's hand real tight when you were going through the exhibits. And the exhibit halls were kind of small. You remember, Steve?
Oh, yeah. They're crowded, too.
Crowded, and hot sometimes. Hot, like uncomfortably hot sometimes, like the studio. Hot, uncomfortably hot. And what I remember distinctly too was you were always about, is it okay to say fondillo high? Because you were a little guy and you're walking around holding hands and all you saw was somebody's backside walking in front of you until they dragged you up to the front to look at the exhibit, whatever it was, whether it was the taffy machine or the Florida Panther that was in the cage, or that's what I remember. And I also remember the IMCA sprint cars. Do you remember how loud those cars
Yes,
were?
yes.
I mean, when you were walking
It
down
hurt your
North
ears.
Boulevard
Yeah.
and you were looking at all the little things, the kiosks and the food and the hawkers and then they cranked up those cars. That was an amazing sound, as loud as it was. And then if you dared get close to that wall with the big mesh fence and you peered over the wall, as the cars were coming around the corner, if you didn't duck just at the right time, you would get a face full of clay.
Yep.
Because all those cars did was wide open, then no brake on those cars, and they'd slide through amazing stuff. How about this one? How about going every year to the fair and saving all your money to get one of those hats that they would embroider with your name on it? And it was
Right.
like the coolest thing. There was a little sailor hat, there was a little Laplander hat with the plume, with the feather, whatever it was, but you got your name on it.
Or the knockers you talked about.
Oh God! What,
About
excuse me,
those?
what were we talking about?
Well, they,
I'm sorry, Steve. Could you repeat yourself?
yeah, the clackers. I mean, that's what I meant. Okay.
Clackers, not knockers, Steve. They were clackers. And yeah, that came later, much
Sorry,
later
ladies
when we were into our teen years. And I don't know who the brainiac was that came up with this idea. But
funny.
basically, there was a metal washer. There was some cord, if you will, some cord, twine cord.
funny.
They drilled a hole through 2 plastic balls and tied them off. And then there's a little red there, Steve. And then
I was in the sun yesterday.
Yeah, of course. And then the idea was to move them up and down, and somehow it made the most hideous sound. You got to play with them for about a day at your house until your father got them and took them and threw them outside because it was too loud. And then all throughout the neighborhood, you can hear the kids who had been to the fair with those clackers. And last, and broken. And if
that
they
too.
chipped,
That too.
and if they chipped, I mean, this was a hazard. You could literally get something in your eye, and it could be a big problem.
The sprayed-on shirts. What about those?
Oh, well,
Tell us about that, Mario.
the sprayed-on shirts. Okay, I'm going way too long on this already, Steve. The sprayed-on shirts, if you remember those, that was the air spray. And I remember I had one shirt in particular, and this is my last fond remembrance, and you're going to go, I was around 12 or 13 years old, and I came home from the fair. It was the coolest purchase ever at that time. It was Wile E. Coyote, and he had his hand around the Roadrunner's neck, and he was squeezing it like this, and the Roadrunner's tongue was sticking out. And the caption on there was, "Beep, beep, my ass." And I just thought it was the cutest shirt. As a 12-year-old, you thought that was kind of funny. I didn't wear it to school, couldn't wear it to school at that time. But I wore it around the neighborhood with my bike. How about you, big guy?
Well, Mario, I mean, picking the most favorite thing for the Florida State Fair for me it's hard to do because there's so many things
Sights
that I
and
enjoyed. I mean, it was all the sights and sounds and everything. But if I had to narrow it down to just one thing that I really look forward to, it was the every year in the exhibit. It was I think it was the Florida Wildlife Exhibit, or I think it was put on by the Florida Department of Agriculture. And because I'm an animal lover, I really, really enjoyed that. But anyway, you got to get a close-up of a bear in a cage. It was a Florida black bear. You had Florida panther. And then remember the dolphin? There was a bottlenose dolphin and like a little
It was the
tank.
saddest exhibit because the dolphin
kinda-
shouldn't have been there. He couldn't swim. He couldn't get out.
Well, the tank was about this big, and it wasn't
That's
very
all
big.
it was.
Yeah.
And I remember, if I remember correctly, Steve, correct me, he was like banged up on his nose because he would always, it was a cement, like.
Right, it was a concrete
thing, and he
concrete
would bang
pool.
his, it was
Right,
sad. It was
right,
kinda
right.
sad.
But I couldn't leave the fair without at least seeing that. But just all the sounds and the sounds, like the motorcycle hell drivers. Remember how loud they were?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah, just walking by.
Well, they'd ride the motorcycles in that mesh globe
Right,
thing, and
right.
they do stunts and going around. That was kind of cool. You'd pay a ticket, you'd look down into the thing.
The Auto Daredevils.
Well, we're taking everybody's thunder. Maybe
Oh,
we
I
should
know.
just go
I
to
know,
the
we
phones
better.
now and let everybody call in and tell us their stories. Okay, guys, there's your cue. Hard by your phones.
All right.
The number again is 977-6800. 977-6800. Operators are standing by, and we've got our first caller of the new season.
All right.
Take this one, Steve.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, man, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, how are you, Tony?
Welcome back, Tony.
Hey, I tried to make it the other day, but I got caught up, man.
Oh, that's okay.
We still got a mug for you, Tony. Don't you worry about that.
Okay. Hey, what I remember about the fair, well, in my younger days, was going to see the Joey Chitwood and his Hell Drive.
And the Hurricane
That's
Hell
right.
Drivers. Isn't
That's
that correct, Tony?
Yep. And then I remember one year they had the Hell Drivers and they had Lash LaRue there.
Oh, wow.
But the one that stays in my memory, I was already a grown man, and it was towards the end of the fair being on North Boulevard.
Sure.
And, the Pirates, the parade used to end there, even the night parade.
Absolutely.
I used
Absolutely.
to drive buses for Tampa Transit when I came out of the Army.
Uh-huh.
And, man, I had the Pirates.
Oh, wow.
Oh, escándalo.
they got.
Escándalo, escándalo.
I didn't have the Pirates, but I had the Crew Venus.
Okay.
But they got on my bus by mistake, and I couldn't get them off. So my brother also worked there, and he says, we'll just trade buses because there's no way we're going to get these guys off the bus. But those were the good old days because the parades all went in there.
The grandstand was full, Tony. Remember the night parade when it would come in? The grandstand was
And in
full.
Ybor City, all the owners of the stores and everything, they'd put out chairs and everything for the family to sit and all that. Because I remember my godfather had his store there, right there on 7th Avenue. Put out chairs, and we'd go over there and sit and watch the parade.
Everything was Kamau, everything was
Tony, those
tranquilo.
were the good old days.
Those were the days.
Those were the good old
Yeah,
days.
Tony. Thanks for that fabulous memory. Oh, yeah, I can't let you get off the phone without asking you 2 questions. Number one,
Lucky number.
your lucky number,
31.
31. And a sidebar, personal note, but share with our viewers who also are keeping our good friend Ted Webb in our thoughts and prayers. How's Teddy doing? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Is Ted doing okay?
No, I think you got the wrong Tony.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I got the
yeah.
wrong Tony?
Yeah.
you're
Well, if
thinking-
the right Tony is out there, would you call?
Yeah. You got the wrong
there's
Tony.
another-
Oh
Yeah,
no, I got
Tony
the. I
Garcia.
know who the.
Right.
I know the
Right.
Tony I got. I got the Tony who sent us the picture of his family from Veterans Day with all his family pictures. Am I
Right.
correct?
Right.
Yeah, but Tony Gonzalez is like John Smith.
Or Bob Jones? Let's face it. Well, Tony, thank you for calling. I got your lucky number down, and if the other Tony Gonzalez is out there, call us. We want to get a report on Ted Webb. Oh yeah, thank you for that memory.
All right, take care, bud.
Yeah.
We're back, Tony. Call us next week.
And congratulations for being the first caller of the new season.
First call of the new season.
All right, bud.
Thanks, Tony.
He should win a prize for
Take
that.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mark,
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Dan Perez.
Oh,
Dan
there's
Perez.
Dan Perez.
Dan, thanks for all the pictures.
Thanks for all the pictures. Look at that chicken man picture there, Danny.
Hey, why is that man scolding that chicken?
No. He's scolding the chicken. He looks like he's got a gun in his hand. It's his fingers, but he's pointing his gun, his fingers at the chicken. He's going, one more time. What's he saying to him? What's he saying to him, like Foghorn Leghorn?
Hey, I'll say pay attention, boy.
I say, boy, listen to me when I'm talking to you.
Well, that
Wait.
chicken doesn't look too happy, though.
The colonel will be here in 5 minutes.
That's what he's saying. I believe you're right. I got some batter in the back. You're done. I like his hat, man. His bowler's very cool.
Yeah. Listen, on the video stream
Amen.
on the computer.
Yes.
The video is up, but the audio is a sermon.
Is that right?
You want to let your technicians know about that. Yeah, it seems to be there's a different audio feed.
Wait, so what are you listening to us on? Because
Well, right now I've got everything muted. But hey, listen, I got a memory for you about.
all right, let's talk about that. Jeff, did you hear what he was just saying? Okay, we're working on that as we speak.
Hey, remember the spinning paintings?
Say again?
The spinning paintings.
Oh, you stole.
Oh.
Psst, Danny.
Wait,
Steve was
that's
going to
right.
talk about that. Go ahead, tell
I
us
know.
about the spinning paint. Of course
That's right.
we do.
You had the paint in the ketchup bottle.
In the ketchup
Yeah,
bottles.
that's right.
Yeah. And you squirt the paint at the spinning card.
Yes, sir.
And you came away with a masterpiece every time.
Every time, Papa. Every
Yeah.
time.
And it was unique, and it was your own creation. No one else in the world had that same design, you know?
Right. And the man would come along when you were done, and he would spray that acrylic coating on it and put it in a frame for you.
Look at Dan. He
Man,
remembered.
Dan, you know, I was probably doing that same painting the same time you were, Dan.
And how about the smell? You remember the smell? I mean, it was,
Yeah.
The paint, of the acrylic
Oh, yeah.
paint, absolutely.
yeah.
Again, that's what the fair was. The fair was sights, sounds, and an olfactory, just one of those magical. Everywhere it was
Yeah.
either sawdust, or it was the animal exhibit, or it was the whatever the food of the day was. Wherever you were, there was a diesel engine exhaust. I mean, it's still like that now, but I think because it's so spread out at 301, it's not quite as intense. I got to point something out about this picture here. So you're saying, Danny, that you can see the image, but the sound is not us. You're hearing us on the radio. I mean, on the telephone. But
All right, let me turn it back on again.
turn it back on and see and then tell us your lucky number.
Yeah, the audio feed is still the wrong audio feed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, okay. How about a lucky 7?
Lucky 7. They're working on that. Look at that picture right there. That's up. I want to point one thing out about that picture that's real cool. These are races, of course. They're going around the track, open wheel kind of, 1926, 27, maybe 1930 roadsters. The impressive part about this, those things are kicking up all kinds of dust. They're going around at tremendous speeds, 60, 70 miles an hour probably for the day. And that cat is just leaning over the
Look at
rail
that.
like he's got nothing better to do.
And that rail's wood.
There's nothing between him and the car.
It's
If
not
the car loses control,
Yeah.
blows a tire, he's done.
It's not a concrete barrier.
That's pretty impressive. Oh yeah, Danny, thanks again for giving us the heads up on the audio. We're working on that. And for sharing your story.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, Mario, Steve, Joe Penny calling.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Yep, calling in, just to let you know, bring you up to speed here. I'm online. I don't know if anyone has called in, but I'm online watching the video, and the audio is that of another show.
Yes, we did. Dan Perez just called us, so that really and truthfully, everything that we said at the top of the show, nobody heard.
Right.
So because Joe, we lavished you with love and affection. We
sure did.
talked about you coming all the way from Seminole and not Seminole Heights to come and see us on Tuesday, and then rushing back to go cook breakfast for your wife, and you didn't hear none of that.
No, none of that.
Oh, no.
That's terrible, because we were sure everybody was going to hear all of that. So we may have to redo this show next week, but that's okay. This is a practice week. It's sort of like taking BP. You know, you gotta put your time in the cage before you can get in the game. And well, we're the first live show of the new season, and here we are.
Yeah, well, I just got the call back, and they let me know that they're working on the audio issue. So
Yeah, they are, Papa.
thank you, Joe.
They're doing that right now. Joe,
Yeah.
give us your lucky number.
number 3.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
Talk to you
thanks for
soon.
calling, Joe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'll get it. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hello,
Hello.
this is Star from Land O'Lakes.
Hey, Star from Land O'Lakes.
Welcome back, Star from Land O'Lakes.
I just want to let you guys know, you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
I know.
We're working
We just
on
found that out.
You are the actually the third caller in a row that has told us about the problem that we're having with the audio. The technicians are back there in the back right now, pulling their hair out, trying to figure this out. We are actually the first live show of the new season, and it looks like this is more of a practice show than anything else. And next week we'll probably redo the fair. You know what? The fair will still be going on.
It'll still be going on, right?
So we can do the fair show
we should
again.
do that. We should do that.
We could, because we need to be able to. They need to be able to hear us.
Right,
And,
right.
and I don't know if you saw it at the beginning, Star, but I had a little thing where I couldn't talk for a minute because I had a frog in my throat.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I sent the 15-minute girl out to get me some water because I was choking.
Way to go, 50-minute girl.
Yeah, she saved the day. But I tell you, you're not the first person, sweetie, that's called to tell us about the problem with the. And hopefully
Right.
they'll get it fixed before it's all over. But
Right.
isn't that interesting? You got our image, and what are they talking about? Is it a sermon? Is it a religious sermon?
Well, you know how Hollywood goes, Mario. You used to go ad-lib.
That's what we're doing, baby. That's what we're doing. Hey, listen, Star,
Well-
can't let you go without getting your lucky number.
My lucky number today is going to be 48.
All right, sweetie.
That sounds like a good
48
number.
It is.
But can I tell you about my fondest memory of the fair?
You better, because that's what this show's all about.
All right. I think one of the biggest things for us was the kickoff with the parade that opened the fair.
Oh, yeah.
But one of my very best friends, her grandmother was I guess a vendor, and she sold cotton candy and candy apples right on the corner of North Boulevard in Kennedy for probably 30-some years.
Oh, wow. That's a
Gee.
great memory.
Yeah, that is good.
Yep. So,
And obviously you probably got preferential treatment when it came to cotton candy.
well, of course I
Yes, of course. Whatever color you wanted, darling.
did. Guys,
And-
good luck this year. We're looking forward to seeing you and getting
Thank
the
you.
kinks worked out, and you'll do just fine.
Thank you, Star.
sweetie. Thanks, Star.
Thanks for letting us know.
Thanks for being there for us.
Mario, we've
Appreciate it.
got
Bye-bye.
about
Bye.
seven emails from people
Saying the
telling
same
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Walt Allen in Forest Hills.
Hey, Walt.
Hey, Walt.
And Walt and Betty.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Hey, there's only one problem. We have no sound. I don't know if anyone else not.
Yes.
Yeah, our director just rolled his eyes at you, Walt, because you're the fifth person in a row that's actually called in to tell us that.
I didn't know if anyone else had called or not, so I wanted to make sure
Well,
it wasn't
thank you.
ours.
What this show is turning out to be today, Walt, is a dress rehearsal, if you will, because we got some great images, and of course you can see us there on TV, and we can hear you, but we've got about 7-8 emails that have come in, and of course every caller's been telling us the same thing.
Right,
But
right.
listen, it's good to see you, Walt, even if you can't hear us.
Oh, yeah. Okay, appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Hey, Walt, give us your lucky number.
How about 28?
You got it. Thank you,
That
Walt.
works.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Steve, Dan again.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
I'm not getting any audio on the TV now.
Before you were getting audio from a different show, right? And now you're getting no audio. Is that right?
No, online.
Oh, you're online. Okay.
Online with audio from a different show. That's still not working. But now there's no audio on the broadcast TV.
Okay.
Okay, no audio on the broadcast
Okay.
TV. Okay, well, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Next, you'll have audio from us speaking Chinese. But listen, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm not getting any audio on the TV broadcast.
Dan,
This is a more
Dan,
visual show.
if I can throw this out there to you, I'll just let you know you're not going to get a second lucky number.
Okay.
All right, Danny. Hey, thanks, Papa. We appreciate it. But if it does happen to pop and come in good, call us, man. Let us know that too.
Okay, I'm trying to read y'all's lips, but
Danny.
all right. See
Or
you.
Dan,
See you,
send
Dan.
us an email too if you hear it. Okay.
Thanks, bud.
I sent you an email. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Well, I
bye.
mean,
Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario. Steve's sitting next to me, and tell me about the audio problems you're having. Hey, caller.
Hey, the voice just came back. That's all I wanted to tell you.
oh, good.
Wait a minute. Who's calling, please?
Brian Rodriguez.
Rodriguez?
We got you on caller ID. Don't lie to us, Brian Rodriguez. Oh, yeah, Brian.
Rodriguez.
Hi, listen. Is the audio now good? Is the audio good with the picture?
To tell you my memory from the fair.
Yes, come on, tell us.
Definitely. We want to hear it.
Yes, it came back.
Good.
Oh, good. Thank you. Turn off
That's
your
good to
TV
know.
and talk to us on the phone because there's a little bit of a delay.
1967 at the fair.
Okay?
Turn it down.
There you go.
I can hear
A
it.
little bit of delay is the electric car that they had at the fair.
The electric.
Remember that?
Say that one again.
Do you remember that the electric car exhibit they had at the fair like in 1967?
Oh, wow. Let me think about that. It must have been in the general
remember that.
with Ready Kilowatt and in the Tampa Electric exhibit hall. Is that where that was?
Yeah, exactly, right in that area. And it
Yes.
was a real small car, and it was an electric car.
Back then,
Wow.
fíjate, 1967.
Wow.
That technology has been around for a long time. Oye, we should be driving electric cars by now.
Exactly, that's my point.
Now, without getting too political, because this isn't the Tampa Natives political hour, but I agree with you on that. And you know, here's my personal thinking on that, Brian. Not to get off too far off topic, is we can send a man to the moon. I can watch somebody doing surgery in California on my Palm Pilot, but I can't get more than 27 miles to the gallon. It's very impressive. I don't understand what's going on there, but oye, give us your lucky number. What's your lucky number? 1 through 75.
27.
27. Stay tuned because we're going to do a little drawing in the end and we're going to give away one of these very cool coffee mugs that say the Tampa Native Show. Thank you for watching. We
thanks.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Calls are coming hot and heavy now, Mario.
Now they are. Here
Now-
we go.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia, and you're,
The sound is no good. Wait a minute. First of all, you can't just call from Richmond, Virginia and not identify yourself. I know who this is. Steve knows who this is. The 15-minute girl knows who this is. You tell us who you are.
your video is coming through fine, but your audio is not working at all.
Right now, as we speak?
Yes.
Okay, because someone just called a minute ago and said it was working, so.
Is this Carol Midkiff from Virginia?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's about time you introduced yourself to our audience. They're all waiting to hear your name. So tell us your fond memory from the Florida State Fair, Miss Midkiff.
I don't know what's going on because I can't hear anything you're saying.
Can you hear me on the phone?
At all. I can hear you on the phone.
Okay, well, here we go. Tonight we're talking about the Florida State Fair when it was at North Boulevard, and we're just asking our callers and our viewers, those that can view and hear us, to call in and tell us their favorite memory from the Florida State Fair when it was on North Boulevard, when we were kids. Go.
Probably the gorilla lady. And
Ooh.
I remember that.
House of Mirrors.
Yes, I got lost in there many times.
Yep.
And the rides.
Of course, all the Wild Mouse, the Tilt-A-Whirl, the Toboggan,
The Scrambler,
the Scrambler.
the Roundup.
And I think somebody said, why does it always rain on the first day of the fair? Because those are the rules.
Those were the rules,
Yeah.
and it was cold too, remember?
Sure.
It was always cold and rainy.
It was like a curse.
Well, listen, thanks for calling in and letting us know. It's our first day back in studio, and the studio is still a work in progress. They're putting everything together. Literally, we are the first live show of the new building, the new facility. So there are a few bugs. We may revisit this show next week because we found out only about 30 minutes into the show that as we were talking to everybody, what everybody was listening to at home was a sermon, some religious broadcasting. So
That's exactly what I was hearing until 7:30.
Okay, great. So we may end up revisiting this show next week, which would be not too bad because you know what? The fair will still be going on.
Right.
Miss Midkiff, can you give us your lucky number between 1 and 75?
3.
3 was taken, darling. Try another number.
Again, I wouldn't know that because I can't hear anything.
I know. Well, that's okay. No, try another number.
33.
33 is good enough for me.
Okay, that works.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for calling and thanks for watching. Is the streaming coming in okay?
I take that back. Yeah, 33 is good.
The visual's okay. It's just the audio you were having problems with, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks so much. We appreciate you watching.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Carol.
Good night.
Bye.
Well, I got an email here. It says TV audio is back online. TV's back. Audio online is still from a different show.
Okay. Audio online is from a different show. And you can watch this. Of course, we have the technology now that we can't get more than 27 miles to the gallon. We discussed that. Send a man to the moon and back. And you can watch this show on your Palm Pilot. What's the address for that? How do you do that, Steve, quickly?
Well, actually, Jeff had that. It was Ustream.tv, I believe.
Ustream.tv,
right,
is that correct, Jeff?
You can actually,
Yep.
oh, it's actually on the screen.
There it is. Oh, it's on the screen
It's
there.
It's a smartphone application that you can download.
So if you have a smartphone application, this is for our people that are out of town, that are driving in traffic right now, wondering how can I watch the show or listen to it, because you don't want to watch it if you're driving in traffic. But you're in California and it's 4:30 in the afternoon and you want to see the show. That's the web address that you would go to download the application. Now look at that picture real quick. We're going to go to the phones in just a second. That picture real quick. That ride, a State Fair classic, still in use today. Stevie, name that ride.
That's the Roundup.
That is the Roundup.
That's the Roundup.
I didn't think you'd know
The
that.
centrifugal force kept you in place, right?
Yep.
And I think I'd be really sick on that ride. I never
Well, you
rode
had to
that.
be a certain height to ride it too, because you could slip out from underneath where you were supposed to be holding on to. But the thing is, how did you keep from getting sick? How did you keep from getting?
I don't know how.
You know how the only way you could do it was to stare intently
At one
at
location.
the person across from you.
Yeah, that's an
because
idea.
that person
Yeah.
was not spinning. You're looking at him. You're going around and around and around, but that person, you could focus on that person. It's sort of like being on a boat and focusing on the horizon so you don't get seasick.
Well, I got sick on the tilt-a-whirl, and that didn't help. I tried staring at everything, I was so sick.
my
I
goodness.
think I was 12 years old. I got so sick on the
Well,
tilt-a-whirl.
Tilt-a-whirl was one of those rides, fabulous ride.
Well, it looked like an apple, remember?
Yeah,
the
classic.
red.
Classic with a half shell that spun and spun and spun. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
I'm calling from Brandon, Florida. This is Tanya.
Well, hello,
Hey,
Ms.
Tanya.
Fernandez. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was watching you too without the audio, and then bam, it came on.
Is it back on?
I was telling
Good.
as we're getting our calls, we're having to explain that this is the first live show
Right.
of the new studio. So, there's a few bugs that they're still working out, but you know what? It's been a great practice show for us. We're probably going to revisit the Florida State Fair show next week because
Right, it's here anyway, right?
correct. And we're here on the first day of the fair, so next week it'll still be going on.
Right.
So,
Right.
Tanya, please tell us your fondest remembrance of the fair, and I hope it doesn't include me. Because we went to several fairs together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We
Yeah,
did.
we sure did.
The toboggan was.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
I thought one of the neatest rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very, very benign, but for a 10-year-old, it was kind of rough.
Right. And by the way, I did not like the Roundup at all.
Right.
Oh.
Because you got spinning and you got off and you were dizzy and it just
Dizzy for
wasn't-
days.
And I really felt, I think, and again, this was younger, that I would fall out of it.
Right. And it tilted, you saw the angle it was tilting at, so I mean, it really went up there pretty good.
It did.
Tanya, how about the Himalayan? Did you ride that too?
No, the Himalaya, yeah, loved the Himalaya.
Wasn't that great?
Super. Himalaya.
I guess probably wouldn't call it fond memory, and maybe he's watching out there because it's Oli from high school.
Okay.
We rode, I think it was called the Spider,
Oh, I remember
Oh,
the
I
spider,
remember that.
absolutely.
I forgot about that.
Absolutely.
and he got a little thick on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I have a fond
And
memory like that too.
started to lose it, and fortunately it went over, and not on me.
Oh, so you were able to duck
Oh.
and it went, well, that was lovely. And it went, that was my microphone. And it went over the back.
Yes, I don't know if anybody got hit or not, but Poor guy. It was bad experience.
Oh, we all had those though. I mean, if it wasn't there, it was at Lowry Park on Easter Sunday when we rode the Tilt-A-Whirl.
Right.
And you rode it after you had, a big lunch.
You had hot dogs and funnel cakes and.
Not a good combination. Our parents knew better, but they sent us out there anyway. Wait, go have a good time.
Right. And I do remember every year at the fair, one of the things that you and my brother and I would talk about is we would always get brave enough to ride one more ride that was, I guess a little more
challenging, right?
A little more challenging.
A little more daring.
Had
A
to
little more
upgrade.
daring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the way it was. I mean, little by little, you would take, I don't know that I ever rode the Wild Mouse, man. It just scared me. It whipped around the corners too fast, and it dipped too fast.
No way.
I don't know that I ever got on that one, but I have an interesting story about the sky.
I remember during the roller coaster, I can't remember the ride. If you said it, of course I would. But I remember like the first time I did that was like amazing. And I didn't stop talking about that for a while.
Remember the zipper, Tanya? Remember the zipper?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Zipper was bad, and then there was something called the bullet that had two cars that went around inverted like this, and they spun. That was bad. Spinning and going upside down was never cool. Going fast was cool.
I liked the zipper a lot. I did like the.
Yeah, no, because you stood and you rocked it, remember? And then it flipped you over. It flipped you over, and it went up.
And then people's change would all fall out through the cage.
Absolutely.
That's how they made their money. Yeah.
Those were the wonderful, wonderful, and we all got T-shirts. Remember the year that you and me and Manny all got T-shirts? Remember that?
Yeah, with our names on it.
Of course.
Wow. Good memories.
Give me your lucky number, Tanya.
Oh, my lucky number. Let's say it's 12.
12 it is, sweetie. 12 it is. Thank you so much for calling
Thanks,
and for sticking with us through the technical snafu. We'll be back again next week. So
good luck, and you guys looking good.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Even though you couldn't hear us, but
Well, I can now.
now you
Thank
can.
you, Tanya.
All right. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Well, in a way, it's a good thing they didn't hear us because they missed my description of the clackers.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Oh, wait.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Pat Rio.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
I'm good.
Pat Rio. Tell us your story, Pat Rio.
Oh, I loved everything about the fair.
Didn't we? Didn't
all
we,
did.
though? Weren't those great times?
They were great. I remember seeing Doc Stevenson.
The trumpet player for the
Yes.
for the Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was there.
Oh, wow.
They all. Ernie Lee was there in the morning show for the morning show. I mean, they had musical groups that came through. Usually they were kind of big bandish at the time because it was in the 50s and the 60s and
Roy
even
Rogers,
in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had pictures of Roy Rogers earlier.
Yep. But I remember when Abuela, Espino,
Sure. Our abuela.
yes, our Abuela, she said, hey, be sure to save your money
Yeah.
so you can go to the fair.
And the thing was, Pat, do you remember? It was the only game in town. There was no Mickey Mouse. There was no Orlando. So we waited all year for the fair to come around.
Exactly. Whenever we had money, they said, save your money. Whenever they gave us money,
That
they
was
said,
it.
save your money for the fair.
We put it in the drawer. We put it in the sock drawer, in the cookie jar, or whatever we could.
Special piggy bank just for that.
Because you could go to the fair with $20 and you could have a big time. And $20 was a lot of money.
I went to the fair with less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You took me one year. I know you remember. You took me. It was 1972, somewhere around there. You took me, and we had a great time. And every time sidebar. Every time I hear the song by Chairman of the Board called "Give Me Just a Little More Time." Do you remember that song, Patty?
Yes, I do.
Every time I hear that song, I remember that because that song was very popular. It was playing on all. That song reminds me of going to that fair with you when I was about 13 or 14 years old. How about that one?
That's exactly right.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, Patty.
that's
Give us
great.
your lucky number.
13.
13.
Oh, lucky number 13.
Lucky 13 it is. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Take care. How much time we got left, Jeff? That's what I thought. Well, listen, we've got one more caller. Let's take this caller real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Oh, we
Oops,
lost that
okay.
caller.
Well, there she is.
It is that time.
15-minute.
15-minute mark. We're here in a brand new, bright, shiny new studio. Everything looks really good. We've had a few little hitches, but we're doing really well, and we're happy to be back on the air live again.
Absolutely.
So hi, guys. Hi, everybody. And you guys, Mario, Steve, 15 minutes.
Well, we can't let you get away 15-minute girl without telling us your fondest memory of the Florida State
Okay,
Fair.
my fondest memory of the fair is kind of a semi-horror story almost. I used to love the double Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah.
And one year, I think I was a junior in high school, and my hair was pretty long. It was a windy day, and I was up on the double Ferris wheel with my friends, and I felt kind of a tug on my hair, and I looked over, and my hair had gotten wrapped around in the gear.
Ooh.
Luckily for me, there was plenty of grease on there, and I was able to just pull it out.
Scary.
Oh my,
That's
scary.
my memory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A hair-raising story,
Yeah.
would you
Oh,
say?
no.
Why didn't you think of that?
That's a fair statement, I would say.
Thank you, 15-minute girl.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. That's our 15-minute girl. She's back. And she wanted also to let you all know that she hears you out there. She knows that there is a big demand for her presence on this show. And in spite of the fact that she wants to have her own show, that's not going to happen. However, we did, Steve and I, concede to allowing the 15-minute girl to have her own social networking page. So for those of you that can't get enough 15-minute girl, and we know who you are, you can go ahead and check that out. That'll be up pretty soon, probably as soon as tomorrow or the day after. So she'll have her own special social networking page.
And she's going to be promoted to the 16-minute girl pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Right. Let's go to the
Oh, another one. Okay, good. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Jim from Palmacia.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim from Palmacia. How are you?
Good. I just got out of a meeting and tuned in. You guys are looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so
can
much.
Hear us, you can hear us okay, right?
We had a little technical issues early on, but you know what? We've straightened them out. We're running at 100% now, and from what I understand, everybody can see the images real good on TV. Hey, tell us your favorite fair story, Jim.
Well, do you remember where the fair was before it went to 301?
Oh, that's what we're talking about tonight, exactly, on North Boulevard between Kennedy and Cass. And those are the stories we want to hear. So you got any Club Lido stories? Or how about Harlem?
Where was the fair the year?
I know.
Year before it went to 301.
Oh,
Jim,
I know.
I know.
We know the answer to that. We know the answer to that.
The Big Sombrero.
At the the grounds of the Big Sombrero, that would be the Tampa Stadium grounds.
Absolutely. They closed.
That 1 year.
They closed the North Boulevard site, and they had 1 year in the interim, and that was our senior year.
Our senior year in high school. That's absolutely correct.
That's right. But the fair was a great thing. Well, one of my favorite memories was watching our mayor at the track there. A fellow by the name of Dick Greco was mayor when I was in 3rd grade.
Sure.
Yeah.
Florida State Fair. He's running again this year, isn't he?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I don't know what that says about his age, but he's got to be. He was either very young then, or he's kind of old now. I don't know, but yeah, Dick Greco he's still in circulation, as it were.
A little bit of both. If Mr. Greco's elected, he'll be 77 or 78 when he's sworn into office.
Have mercy.
Wow.
Hey, Jim, do you have a favorite number? We're going to do a little bolita drawing here in a minute.
Favorite number would have to be 58 in honor of you, Mario.
Oh, thank you so much. 1958. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for being there for us, buddy.
Thank you, Jim.
How about you were 58 years old, Mario?
Not a chance. But if I were, don't I look good for 58?
1958. 58.
Thank you, buddy.
Adios, guys. Have a good
Adios.
We have time for another call?
Sure we do.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Mario. My name is Rick Pasciuto. I'm calling from Carrollwood and formerly Palmetto Beach, Florida.
Hey, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
How are you doing, guys?
Good. Yourself?
Hey, my fondest memories, you kind of stole my thunder with the getting hit in the head with a clay.
Oh, you remember that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wasn't telling a story. That's the true thing.
Yeah. No, that was true. I remember. My mother used to say, hey, duck your heads quick because you get hit in the head with a clay.
And it sounded like when the clay was hitting the wall like a machine gun. Man. It was really, they were so loud. I can't even imagine the drivers inside the cockpits of those things.
Oh, I remember. That was a great memory. And yes, I had one of those hats with a feather sticking out.
You had it too? Yeah, we did too.
Yep, they were long feather.
And you got to remember the swords. You remember the swords, the little plastic swords everybody was waving around?
Yes,
I sure do.
And I don't know if anybody has said this because of the voice problem there. How about Mac and Ivy's? Everybody ran to Mac and Ivy's to eat the sandwiches.
You know what? No one mentioned that yet, but it was on my mind though.
No, Mac and Ivy's was a must. I mean, you absolutely used to, and the pizza was good. The Mac and Ivy's was terrific. The fiddlesticks, we talked about them earlier because they were dipped in chocolate and
rolled in nuts.
Nuts.
The picture's on the screen behind us right now.
There were certain foods that you wouldn't leave the fair without eating.
The Pronto Pups,
the French fries. The French fries were also very good. Sometimes you'd put the little malt vinegar on there with the salt. I mean, tremendo stuff.
How about the flying saucers?
The flying saucer, that's like an elephant
yeah.
ear, is that right?
Ears, that's what that was, the elephant.
There you go, there you go.
And then there was a frozen banana dipped in chocolate.
Oh, yeah, I got a picture of me and Jimmy Castillo at the fair with the little hats. We had the swords and everything.
Rick, we're going to ask a favor of you because the first half of this show we didn't do, the sound wasn't working properly. We're probably, we're going to revisit this show theme next week because the State Fair is still in town. Send us that picture if you would, and we'll use it on, like you see these pictures behind us now, we'll use that picture and talk to you again next week.
That was a great picture. I'll do that.
Send it to show@tampanatives.com. Would you do that for us?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, what's your lucky number? 1 through 75?
29.
29 it is. Thank you, Rick.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Bye-bye. We better do this quick because we've got just a couple of minutes left. How many minutes? 8 minutes left. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is...
Caller, turn your TV down a little bit.
I think I know who this is, and I want her to go ahead and turn that TV off and talk to me, Mother. Mom?
Yeah?
I know it's you, and everybody else does now too, so do me a favor, talk to me on the phone. Don't listen to yourself on the TV, it'll mess you up. There's like a 7-second delay.
Okay.
All right,
I want to tell you about my fondest memory of the Florida State Fair.
And this is, I'm sorry, could you give us your name again, caller?
You forgot her name?
My name is Carmen Nunez.
Okay.
I'm your mom.
Very good.
And I'm calling from South Tampa.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. I want to tell you about my fondest memory of the Tampa State Fair.
Okay, Florida State Fair.
Florida State Fair. I had done my motherly duty and taken you and several other kids to the State Fair earlier in the day, the week. But your father and I had a kind of a date night to go to the State Fair, just the two of us. On one condition, that I ride all the Rock'em Sock'em rides.
The scary ride, yeah, the fast rides, the scary rides.
The Steel, the Double Star, you know, all of that stuff. And I said, at the risk of losing it, but I said yes because I wanted to go to the State Fair. So we went. And I did ride all the rides as specified, but I never went back again.
That was it, huh?
Anyway.
You were cured after that. Cured of all ills after that. Well, you know, and the rides are getting more and more intense. I got to be honest with you. And you know, as we get older, as we all do, we probably shouldn't be riding those rides. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least without having a good chiropractor on staff.
I want to tell you that the show, I'm terribly sorry that you've had all the problems you've had, but I tried to get through to you and you had phone troubles as well.
Well, probably because this is actually, and I was explaining this a little bit earlier, this is the first live show of the new season, and it is the first live show of the new building. So they're working out some of the kinks, and what we're going to do is we're going to revisit the theme next week so we can talk to even more people. The fair will still be in town, so it's a topic that is still going to be in play next week. We're going to solicit for pictures, so anybody that's out there that's listening now, if you have pictures of yourselves and your friends when you were at the fair as a kid at the North Boulevard site, please send them to us at
tampanatives.com. That's tampanatives with an S.
Thank you.
.com.
And we will show those next week for sure, okay?
Absolutely.
So, and the other thing, and can I get your lucky number, Miss Nunez?
22.
22 it is. Thank you for calling. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Nunez.
You have a great time.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Marty, do we have time for one email from Angelo Ramori?
Please, Angelo Ramori.
Let's read this. We have an email from Angelo Ramori, and he writes in, we went to the old fairgrounds on Children's Day during the 1950s, and we couldn't afford the food, so my mother packed us sandwiches for us to eat. We washed the sandwiches down with water from the drinking fountains. We had fun anyway. Those were the good old days. Thank you, Angelo, for the email. We appreciate that.
The good old days. Thank you, Angelo. We have a few minutes left, do we not? About 4 minutes. Well, at this time, we're going to go ahead and do our bolita drawing because you know what? We took a lot of lucky numbers, and this is closest to, Steve?
Without going over.
Without going over. Here we go. Stevie, let me draw, and you do the without going
Let's
over
do
part.
that. Let's do that.
Untie that real quick.
Got it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready to draw. And without going over.
Closest to.
Closest to. You have the numbers recorded in front of you?
I got them here.
Oh, my.
Wait.
Oh, my.
No way.
Is this possible?
A 2?
Is that possible? Did I get that right?
Well, no.
Without going over, we went over.
Yeah, he went over.
Okay, so we don't have a number 2 or a number 1.
We got to do it
Let's
again.
do it again. Oh, my.
Joe Albini, you were very
Joe
close.
Albini, you were damn close right there. Here we
had a
go.
3.
Here we go.
Okay, let's do it again.
And the lucky lotto draw. Oh, wow. Now, is that or is that?
Well, look at the 2.
It's that.
It's a 9.
Yeah, it's a 9.
So, let's see, the closest would be, actually, Dan Perez. 7.
Lucky number 7, Dan Perez. You are the proud winner of this collector's item, very collectible, limited edition Tampa Natives Show mug. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you this one after I drank from it.
Does it get café con leche with it also?
Danny, this mug's for you, Papa.
I'll give you this one, Danny.
How much time we got left, Jeffrey? About 2.5 minutes. Okay, well, we still have lines open if anybody would like to call, but we should remind you in the last 2.5 minutes that next week, Stevie agreed?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got to do this again, Mario.
You don't even know what I was going to say, but you just agreed anyway.
I knew what it was. I read your mind.
We're going to do this show again on the Florida State Fair. We're gonna solicit for your emails, certainly. We'd like to know if you're out there watching, if you saw the show tonight, and we got a bunch of emails because we had the audio problems. Send us an email. Tell us you're watching. Tell us, just write something in the subject line, I'm watching, I'm lurking for you, or as Shock Armstrong used to say, start the movie. It doesn't matter. Just let us know you're out there watching, because we'd like to gauge how many people are with us at this new hour, which is to say 7 o'clock.
Right. And also send some pictures of the Florida State Fair if you have any old pictures. And I'd like to mention also Susan Grouper, next week we'll put your picture up there as well. And thanks for sending us that photo.
And Miss Laura Settlemeyer. Yeah. Laura, if you're out there watching, we hope you are. We're going to have
that's gonna be
moms
great.
and aunts, your moms and your aunts' pictures. We have 3 classic pictures of the Zucchini Girls being blasted out of the cannon, the human cannonballs. And our dear friend and friend of the show, Laura Settlemeyer, she has those pictures, and she's going to let us show them next week.
Amazing pictures, too.
They're pretty cool pictures. You want to stand by for that. One more call real quick. Caller, you're on the air. We've got about a minute to go. Tell us your name and where you're calling from and your favorite story.
I'm Bruce, calling from South Tampa. Had a story, came to mind. I was with a buddy sneaking into the fair, climbing the fence. We both were on top of the fence. It collapsed. He fell on me. I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh, no.
Ended up in the emergency room. Called my parents. They looked through my wallet to get my insurance card. And I had a couple $100 on me because I had a fake ID in there, and I went to Highlight the night before.
Oh, wow. That's a great story.
And the cop was there. He said, you're sneaking in the fair to save $1, and you got $180 in your wallet. And my friend that was with me was in the waiting room. When they went out to get him, they said he ran out the door.
Wow, Bruce, that's a great story.
That's impressive. That's and actually it's a Florida State fair story and a highlight story. So you got a 2-for-1 there with us.
And Bruce, we're gonna have a highlight show too later in the season.
Stand by, that's coming up as well. So, and listen, we're gonna revisit this theme next week, Bruce. So be sure that you call in next week, and if you have any pictures from that era, if you have a picture of yourself in a cast, in a sling from that horrendous fall, send that in. We'll show it next week.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bruce. Oh, that's great. Listen, we got about 15 seconds to go. Steve,
let's thank our viewers mainly for sticking with us all this time. We've been off the air 8 weeks, and thanks for hanging in there with us. We're back, and we're ready to go. So sorry for the little snafus today, but we'll be back on track next week.
Thank you. Salud and happy days,
and
Tampa.
happy days.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleeping days, long summer nights, going anywhere we pleased. This love I've always called my own, a love that I've always known. Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers